If you feel like you're not getting quality time with your partner, take a walk with me. If you have an anxious attachment style, you're probably not going to like this one, but it's always quality over quantity. Nothing will ever make you feel less chosen than receiving large volumes of someone's time, but the quality just isn't there. You're thinking, psh, lies, that sounds amazing, like a snuggie or a security blanket. And therein lies your work, the self-regulation piece. Even if you wore that snuggie 24/7, eventually you'd wear it out. And then you'd have to go find another one because clearly that snuggie isn't avoidant. But this isn't even about attachment styles. This is more about the time that we spend with our partners. Be sure to drop a comment below on how you spend your time with your partner. For many of you, it looks like binge watching a show that you're not actually watching because both of your faces are tied to your phones. And of course, your anxious attacher has one eye and one ear open. Better not hear one of those booty songs come on. Dun, 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 na, 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 na. All while you're doing that, internally you're just hoping for connection. See me, hear me, love me, respect me. Eventually you watch enough of those curated videos about relationship goals that one or both of you just give up. Start to realize that you've been spending your relationship mostly distracted or doing it for the gram. Don't let yourself be fooled. A lot of those relationship goals are just that. It's their hopes and dreams for their relationship. Sure, they might experience bits and pieces of that happiness, but it's not 24/7 and it's not supposed to be because life is difficult, it's complicated, and it's nuanced. We tend to forget that every human has a life equally as complicated as yours. We love to say things like, oh, I'd trade places with them in a heartbeat, but then if you actually had to do it, you'd very quickly change your mind. This is where we want to call a timeout and get intentional. Ask yourself, what do you want your relationship to look like? What are your goals, values, and standards for a relationship with you? Does your partner have the will, the desire, and the emotional capacity to meet you where you are? And this is where some people get confused because you think what I'm saying is ditch them because they're not doing what you want them to do. And if not, are you willing to acknowledge and recognize their personal history along with their lack of emotional capacity, and that you can love them as they are? When you stop outsourcing your personal well-being and happiness to other people, you begin to look at people just a little bit differently. And what I'm not saying is that you have to completely sacrifice what you want. I think for many of us, we forgot to grow together. And if you're not growing together, you're growing apart. And of course, somewhere inside of both of you are the two people that actively chose one another many years ago. But you never really had the best examples growing up of what a healthy relationship actually looked like. You didn't learn what emotional regulation was or how to cultivate equanimity. More importantly, nobody ever talks about using the language of a shared mission and vision. Both have long and short-term goals that you're working towards together within the container of this relationship. Often we begin to lose connection because we lost our intention. I mean, for real, why are we doing this again? You might be thinking, like you, I don't even know you anymore. If I'm being honest, I don't even know myself. And I know that sounds like the beginning of the end, but it's actually a really beautiful place to be able to acknowledge and accept those things. Because now, at a minimum, you're being honest with each other. Where there was love once, you can bring it back. And as long as you never found yourself on an episode of Cheaters, Brooke and Jubal's awkward phone call. But how can you get those intentions back? You choose it. You hear me say this in just about every video. It all starts with you, even though you might want the other person to go first. You have the power at any moment to change the conditions of your relationship. This isn't like January 1st where you just let them know that, hey, by the way, there's all these different laws that changed. Get ready. It's not really the energy we're going for here. Even Gary Chapman in the 5 Love Languages discusses this. If your partner's been asking for you to do certain things, do them. Pick some of the low-hanging fruit and get it done, and see what happens. Just might see them take a breath, exhale, watch their shoulders drop, and gratitude set in. I know a lot of you are going to be stuck on the leadership part of this, but right now, you're trying to triage your relationship. If you're waiting for them to make the first move, you're going to be waiting forever. People don't change until they have to. And even then, it's 50-50. Sometimes that shift is just enough to bring light back into the relationship. Don't hesitate to schedule things with your partner and throw it up on the family calendar. Monday, Wednesday, Friday after work, we're going to go walk the dog together. Every morning, we're going to spend the first 5 or 10 minutes together, maybe even in prayer. You might want Proverbs 31, but what are you going to do to get it?